Welcome to Ducks on the Pod, a baseball podcast with your hosts, Matt Welker and Jake Mosel. Welcome back, everybody, to Ducks on the Pod. How's it going, Jake?
Going well. Another week of baseball.
Yeah, another week of baseball. Yeah, Dodgers are finally back in first place. Since the last day we recorded, which I believe was April 30th, they tied the Mets for the best record. The next day took the outright lead and have not relinquished it since. The baseball world
not relinquish it.
Yeah, baseball world is back down to earth. And actually, the Padres are now a full game ahead of the Mets. That could change tonight, could change tomorrow when this gets released. But as of Wednesday, May 6th, Padres not even in Mets not even in second. And you guys, I think, are like a full game behind them. So they could very well be fourth in the NL here very soon.
Yeah, I mean, the top couple teams are probably going to oscillate outside of maybe the Dodgers. Like, literally might not spend another day without having the best record in baseball. We'll see.
Yeah.
Especially because they're playing Miami right now.
Mm-hmm.
They figure to stay there for a little bit.
Yeah, they're up 1-0 last I saw.
Yeah, they still are.
And I'm by no means trying to knock the Mets. It was just the baseball world's kind of right again. I don't know if it's like their starters are starting to come down to earth or if it's just the old classic regression scenario where it regressed back to the means. But
yeah, I mean, they just played Arizona, who's a good team, whereas LA's had Miami. So,
yeah. So Dodgers are back on top of the hill. Riley Green, first player in MLB history the other day to hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning of the same game as the Dodgers. Tigers and A's, I believe, went into that 9th inning tied 1-1.
Angels.
And then they decided, what did I say? A's? Angels.
Yeah, that's right. We'll forgive you.
Yeah, it's quite all right. I also have the power to edit it out if I want to, but probably won't. Tigers put a 8 in the top of the 9th, which, as previously mentioned, Riley Green hitting 2 home runs in that same inning, which I believe I counted that they hit 4 in that one inning. That's a very shitty top of the 9th for the Angels.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good team figuring out a way to win, like when they have to. Obviously, like by the time you get to the second home run, like who cares really? Like it doesn't mean anything at that point anymore, given it was a close game going into the 9th, but so cool nonetheless, especially for Riley Green. He's just one of the guys in the league. I don't think it's the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
So,
and with how hot he started and then how cold he got, it was cool to see him kind of come back onto the scene with that.
Yep.
Then my third kind of quick headline here. It's an unfortunate one. A lot of bad injuries happened over the last week, starting with that Pirates fan falling out of the stands. Thankfully, I think it was yesterday, it may have been today, but I saw he was stable and responding. So hats off to that guy. And then Tristan Casas blew his knee out. Then Tyler Callahan, my Reds starting left fielder, broke his forearm in about 18 different places, which that play was a little – I rewatched it earlier, tried to close my eyes when I saw multiple arms. But it was just like barely fair. But I feel like in that scenario, if you're Matt Olson, are you continuing to run the bases?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you're supposed to. I feel like I probably would stop at some point, but I don't know because I don't know if the umps were saying anything. I haven't really been able to see that on any sort of replay, but I think they were just like, it's a live ball.
Yeah, I think it's just an unfortunate situation for the Reds.
It was a great catch too.
Callahan.
Obviously,
he
didn't catch it, but it's because his arm is in half. But
it's funny you bring up injuries, and it's a weird segue into like rule changes. But do you want to see any rule changes based on any of these? Because Casas, you have potential rule of like putting the softball first base in there.
Yeah, I don't know why
give
that
players
hasn't been
more
a
room
thing.
for step. Um,
Like it
Tyler
seems soft.
Callahan,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
you have the catch. Was it a catch? Was it not? By rule book, at least my understanding of it, it's not, and it was called it correctly because even though it was in the glove, he never made an attempt to like bring his other hand to it, which I think completes the catch. So you can run into the wall and drop it, and that's kind of still a live ball, as was the case
Yeah.
in Atlanta there. And then the Pirates injury, like just falling over a wall. I guess I'll save that one because that one doesn't affect rules necessarily, but I still got to comment on it. So,
Yeah.
thoughts on rule changes?
So the Pirates one, I feel like that wall's not short. From what I heard of it, I haven't really dove into it a whole bunch, but from what I hear of it, the guy, I think he was a little intoxicated, but he went to just jump up in the air to celebrate, but like his belt or something got caught on something, and when he went to jump, it just like propelled him over. So I don't.
Here's good. I didn't mean to
No,
cut you off.
no, please.
Here's my thing. That wall is 21 feet high. Roberto Clemente, number 21. That's a long fall.
Yeah.
But not only in that case, like we've had situations where fans fall, like in some cases to their death. Remember when Josh Hamilton, when he was in Texas, threw like a ball up to a fan and they ended up falling? I think it was in between. It was over a similarly high wall, but there was a gap in between where the fan sits in the front row and the back of the wall. And so they fell down and killed them, like died because of the fall. Like I think
that
there
messed
needs
him up too.
One of the like main safety things that they haven't taken care of yet for fans, like they put up the nets, great. I think there needs to be a buffer in between the fans and the playing field, and that can be done in a bunch of ways, right? Like obviously, as a Cubs fan, I'll bring up Wrigley first. They have a basket, at least in the outfield, where you can't interfere with the play as a fan because you can't reach out that far, and two, like if you were to fall, you do have a basket there to catch you, right? Yeah. And I understand that doesn't apply to all areas of the field, like foul ball territory and whatnot. I think it could though. Like a bunch of places will put a mini flower bed to like separate the wall and the fans. Like why isn't that
like a small
standard?
Gap that you can't reach into the field of play, but you're also Correct. Not just going to like fall down in it.
Yeah, to me, it's a win-win. Like you're still up and you're right next to the field, no matter what, and it impacts very few fans. However, you have the safety precautions and like home runs. Like how many times do we see a fan like reach over and you're like, I can't tell if it was going to hit the top of the wall, if it was going to be just over, or like the Mookie Betts situation or Mike Trout, where a fan's ripping the ball like out of a player's glove.
Yeah. Those are wild.
Like can't do that. Like that's player safety and rules. Tommy Pham is getting touched by a fan during a live play. Like
talk about the worst person to do that to.
Yeah, I would have handled it the exact same way too. I would have been pissed.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm out here. Like, sure, I'm making millions of dollars, but I'm out here doing my job. I don't come to your work when you're welding and just poke you in the back.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. There's alcohol involved in a lot of these cases or something, but like, come on. It's so easy to fix, to put just that minor buffer. It's an additional, like, 2 feet maybe needed?
Yeah.
I just don't understand why that's not an option.
I feel like it hasn't in the past just because of the, like, fan experience. It's like you don't feel separate from the game. It's not like you have this net in front of your face the entire time, or like a wall, or just this. You feel like you're just right there next to the game.
Yeah, I just don't think it matters. Like after the first game, you
especially
show
on a
up
20-foot
where that
wall,
affects you, you're going to forget. Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Like foul ground, where it's like a 3-foot wall, you're not going to fall and hurt yourself on that. Maybe you bruise yourself a little bit, but you're not going to die or potentially go unconscious and have to be taken to the hospital.
But also, like wherever the screen doesn't go, I still think there should be that buffer. Because think of what you could do in Callahan's situation. Like all walls are hard. I don't care if they have padding or not. But you could, this is just me spitballing, but couldn't you put like a huge ass spring behind that? So instead of running into a pad that's next to concrete, like the wall actually has some give.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that make more exciting plays because people would like be more willing to dive or slide into walls, knowing that they won't get hurt?
Your outfield wall is probably the toughest one to run into.
No. Don't change that. That's a national monument.
Change every other wall, but not my park. But no, I mean, it is definitely a sad thing. Obviously, it's not insanely sad the guy didn't die. It sounds like he's doing all right. But in the case of Tyler Callahan, it's like I think no matter what, that probably would have broke his forearm just by the way it turned on the wall.
Yeah, the angle. It was a freak accident for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like it probably should have been considered a catch since there was 2 outs, but
I agree
because it should be dead at that point. Like it's not like he needs to get the ball in because the play's still alive. Ball's dead. But I guess he was just barely, like the ball was just barely fair when he touched it too. So it counts as a fair ball. Because I didn't even think about that until somebody this morning at work told me about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, he was in foul territory. Why wasn't it a foul ball?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't even think about that." But
caught it like as he was crossing the line.
Yeah, there's no room from line to wall there at Truist. It's like 10 feet, and for some reason it jets out right before that.
A lot of parks are like that too. Like a lot of parks, as you get deep into the corner, like there is zero room.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it tapers up to the home run wall and starts to go around. But it's like, I don't know. That's an area where you're pretty much going to be a full sprint at all times.
Yes,
we should probably maybe look into some fixes on that.
I understand Callahan's like not a big piece to the Reds puzzle necessarily, but like if that were Aaron Judge out there, like in right field, going after a ball and breaks his forearm, like we'd all be in big trouble.
Yeah,
from just a baseball fan experience.
Yeah, every stadium would change after that.
Yep.
But
the only rule change I'm against is the double base. I hate the idea of it. Everything about it.
Didn't you just say that with Tristan Casas?
No, I said like I was posing it as a question to you.
Oh.
If you think it should be there. I don't.
I mean, I only do just for situations like that. Like, nobody will ever collide with each other. Like, especially, like a lot of times when a pitcher's going to cover first and then the first baseman's also running in and then you got the batter running to first, like, it's usually never a three-way collision, but you don't know what's going to happen in those scenarios. And a lot of the times it's big boys running at each other. Like, first basemen are normally huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a lot of impact, and you're basically just running directly at each other.
I'm fine with
those scenarios. I think the safety base is a good idea. It's just, I don't know. I think it's
like
kind of soft.
Luis Arraez situation.
Yeah.
I just like if it's player on player contact, like that's the stuff where I'm like, you signed up for a sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Like,
but
if you take a bad step, you take a bad step. Like you can't take torn ACLs out of football. You know.
Yeah.
It's the environment safety issues that I wouldn't mind a rule change. Maybe that's me getting older. Like I watch a football game now and I think that every cut hurts, let alone every time they get hit. So maybe I'm just
you have a torn knee and aren't doing anything about it.
True.
But so this isn't the greatest segue because it was about 3 minutes ago that you mentioned his name, but Aaron Judge off to a hot start. Batting .410, which I think he's one of. Is he one of one batting over 400? Yes.
He is.
Paul Goldschmidt, his teammate, is right behind him at 353, at least of qualified players. 410, 11 home runs. I believe that's good enough for third right now. And 33 RBIs through 36 games. Those are very good numbers. Obviously, we know full well that Aaron Judge is very good at baseball. Not the greatest right fielder, but not a horrible outfielder. But he is very quickly pretty much already locking up the MVP, I say. Like, obviously he's not there.
Realistically, yes.
Kind of kidding when I say that, but like, He was already the favorite, at least in the AL. Just give the man the award already.
I don't see Jorge Polanco keeping up his pace here and catching him.
And if he does, I think Jorge Polanco could have the exact same numbers, and Judge is going to win
by default
just because he's Judge.
What is interesting, because I mentioned those two players, though, is Aaron Judge is actually third in expected batting average in all the MLB, second in the AL. Jorge Polanco is number one. Polanco's batting 369, expected 370, so 1 point difference. Judge is batting 414. It's probably because the game's going on right now. Yeah. Expected batting average, though, 351. One of the luckiest players in MLB in terms of actual versus expected average so far.
Yeah. You said Polanco's the luckiest? Or Judge is the luckiest?
Aaron Judge. He's not the luckiest. He's one of the luckiest, but yes. Polanco is batting actually 1 point worse than expected, whereas Judge is batting 63 points better than expected, which is a pretty big gap.
Yeah. I will say it is tough to call luck when you're hitting 11 home runs on the season so far. He is in a small park. I get that. But which this actually just made this come up in my brain. So there's 7 people with double-digit home runs. James Wood could be included in here from his home run in the first game of their doubleheader today. But the funniest name to me, at least, on here is Corbin Carroll. Like, you got James Wood, big dude. Spencer Torkelson, big dude. Suarez, not a huge dude, but all he does is hit home runs when he gets hits. Judge, big dude. Schwarber, home run guy. Cal Raleigh, home run guy. But Corbin Carroll is just this skinny outfielder that's fast as shit, and he's out here hitting 10 home runs.
Yeah.
Which, also wild, he only has 5 stolen bases. Probably because he's rarely on base because he's always doing full trips around the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm shocked
Judge,
to see Pete Alonso doesn't have 10, by the way. But go on.
Yeah. Judge, by the way, is actually slugging 3 points worse than expected. So pretty much exactly what is expected. You can't get much closer than that. But regardless, his home runs are real. His average might be a little inflated. And we'll come back down to earth as you would expect. But it's still crazy. I mean, his expected batting average is still third in the league. Yeah. That's how big of a gap he has on everybody else in like actuality, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I still love his comment about the torpedo bats. He's like, I'm all right. I don't need to use that. I think my stats will speak for themselves.
Did you know that he actually has the second highest WOBA of qualified players?
I did not know that.
Can you name the first?
The first highest WOBA? Is it going to be Jorge Polanco?
It's not.
Is it a red? Because you got a shit-eating grin on your face.
Nope.
I was going to say, it's not Gavin Lux, I'll tell you that much. I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Carson Kelly, of course.
of course,
Carson Kelly, backup catcher for the Cubs, yes. He's 10 points higher in WOBA, which is insane.
I'm surprised that guy doesn't have 10 home runs.
In terms of WOBA, he is the second luckiest player so far. His WOBA is 540, Judge is 530, but he's only expected to be at 466, which is still very, very good. Good enough for fourth. However, 74-point difference in WOBA and xWOBA for Carson Kelly.
I see Carson Kelly. Yeah, Carson Kelly is not qualified just because he's a catcher. But he would have a higher OPS than Judge right now.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to see he only has 8 home runs. I feel like he hits multiple home runs in every single game.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Probably because
crazy start to the year.
He's only played in 20 games.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Cubs, I'm skipping over one, coming back to it. Cubs with, I would assume, probably the hardest schedule in baseball up to this point. Just 2.5 back from the Dodgers for best record. I'm very curious to see where you guys go from there. Yes, you're missing currently your 2 best pitchers. Your other one's probably going to be back somewhat soon. But you also have the biggest division lead in MLB by 4 games. You still have your doubts? You said the other day offline that you're expecting a skid here soon.
I am. I mean, when you're down your top 2 pitchers, and coming into the year, I told you millions of times at this point, I don't believe that the Cubs pitching depth is very good. And it's been holding up so far, don't get me wrong. But when you think of not having Justin Steele for the rest of the year, Shota left the game with like leg cramps, and then the next game he pulls a hammy or strains a hammy, whatever it is. Now he's on the IL. So I'd imagine that they're pretty cautious with bringing him back, especially with the division lead, as you mentioned, as long as that holds throughout his time on the IL. But yeah, going down 2 pitchers there. Matt Boyd's been unbelievable. Ray has been unbelievable so far. I don't expect that to continue because it's Matt Boyd and Ray. So
Colin Ray. Sounds like Shota needs to eat some more bananas.
Banana no crump. And then like Carson Kelly is not Aaron Judge. Like that is a ton of production that's probably going to go elsewhere. Pete Crow Armstrong's been maybe the best hitter in baseball over the last 2 weeks. That's probably going to slow down. Like Kyle Tucker is probably going to continue to be Kyle Tucker. So we'll still score. I expect us to score a little bit less just from variance. And then the pitching, I think, has been a little bit better, especially like the tail end of the starting crew.
What are Seiya's
I expect a little bit of a skid. Seiya's good.
So he's hitting 267, but
yeah, he's hitting the crap out of the ball though when he hits it.
Tied for 4th in RBIs. He strikes out quite a bit.
Yeah, it does.
He's got 2 triples, huh? Assuming those are hard balls off the brick wall that got past an outfielder.
Yeah, right center and right field line. Pretty triple friendly, actually.
Fair enough. All right.
He's not slow either.
I can't say I've ever paid attention to whether he's fast or not.
He's pretty athletic.
Continuing on with other ball clubs that are off to hot starts, or at least hot recencies. Tigers, Mariners, and A's. All 7-3 in their last 10. Dodgers 8-2, but we already talked about them. The A's are quickly, even though me and you didn't power rank them very well, this was also 7 games ago, or 7 days at least. The A's are really starting to prove that they could mess around and make some noise in the AL. Not going to go as far to say and make the playoffs, but I feel like they're definitely hunting. Like I randomly could see them end up winning their division because I feel like the Mariners are going to fall off. Their hitting's all just from home runs. Like that can't sustain either.
The A's are too, though.
Is it? Fuck, I didn't look them up enough.
I don't know what it is this year. Last year, they were the most home run dependent team in baseball.
I do remember you saying that.
This year, like Soderstrom's been crushing home runs. They still have Rooker. The big difference, though, today's offense, I think, is Wilson because he's hit a couple home runs, monster. But he's just always on base. Where, like, it could turn a bunch of solo home runs into 2-run homers pretty quickly because that dude can hit and get on base.
I hope I didn't create a Ducks on the Pod curse because Tyler Soderstrom has not hit a home run since I created that video.
It's all
right. But no, they are a fun team. Jacob Wilson's a psycho to watch in the box. He's like Nick Martinez, just doesn't stop moving. And just doesn't stop swinging.
100%.
Guy's a freak. As far as like big headlines and like kind of big topics to talk about, it's kind of been a boring week outside of bad injuries. What are you looking forward to the most over this next week?
Cubs Mets, for sure.
Cubbies Mets.
Yeah, just two best. It's the best series if you look at record and aspirations. So,
what's the pitching matchups looking like?
you know what, Matt? I haven't checked, but I'd be more than happy to now. Game
Yeah.
one on Fox. TBD versus TBD. So don't know. There goes that.
Yeah,
plan.
that definitely goes. There goes that. When do you guys start playing? Friday? Is that what you just said?
I think so. Yeah.
So ESPN has names at least slated in, so we can have fun and go off that.
All right, who is it?
Looks like. Ooh, I spoke too soon. First game, it says Jameson Taillon versus Clay Holmes. Second game, you guys are TBD, and Tyler Megill is going for the Metropolitans, and then the third game, it says Boyd versus Griffin Canning. So not the
most
exciting, but
it's about as good as it gets.
Well, there's no one really sexy in the Mets rotation right now.
No.
I guess Clay Holmes is probably the one. If Manaea was
Peterson's
here, I'd be
really good,
but yeah,
Peterson's really good. It's just not really a sexy name because he just gets soft contact.
Yeah, when you guys at the moment don't really have a sexy name pitcher.
Yeah,
I'd be very curious to see how early and how heavy you guys go on starting pitching at the deadline. Like, would you want them to go pretty wild with that, assuming you're, let's say at the deadline, you're 6 games up in the division and within reach of the Dodgers?
I don't really care about home field advantage necessarily. So if we have a comfortable lead and we think that the team we have can get us there, I'd like to hold on to prospects. I get nervous about trading prospects for 1 year solutions.
I mean, if they're a rental, you're probably not going to give away a whole lot. And if whatever you do give away, it's not going to be the craziest of names.
Right. That being said, though, like the Cubs don't want to sign anybody ever to big deals. So
good point.
Sometimes like the way to acquire then is like, all right, here's some prospects. We're going to get a guy with a couple of years of control at least.
So you don't have to extend them.
Too much is pending the Kyle Tucker situation at the end of the year. If the Cubs are confident that they're going to sign him, I don't really care about the prospects as much because the team we have is going to be the team we have going forward. If they aren't confident or not entertaining keeping him, like you better not get rid of prospects.
Yeah.
And Jake, if you do, what? Bad news?
No, please finish. I'm sorry.
If they like, if we have to go in all for 1 year because we have no plans of keeping Kyle Tucker, like either do nothing or sell everything and make sure you win a damn World Series this year.
Yeah.
One or the other. Being caught in the middle is like the worst thing you can do as an MLB franchise, I think.
I would mostly for any sport. Yeah. But I would hope you guys make a valiant effort to re-sign him. Especially with how he's playing. Because he has no value to you other than to win a World Series.
Correct.
Because you're not going to flip him. I mean, I guess maybe you could, but what's the point of trading for him in the first place? Do you want to hear my breaking news?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me saying this, but you'll probably have it out before I have the episode out. Liam Hicks, barrel.
Oh, big time.
He just hit a 108.5 donger at a 25 launch angle. Expected batting average of 990. So I would hope that will be considered a barrel.
Pure as it gets.
Yes.
Yep. That'll do
out in all parks but Fenway and Coors.
Good. Got something to talk about.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to delay the. Actually, just kidding. Nobody listens to this anyway. And if you are, good for you.
Thanks for being early.
Yeah, you get the treat of having that. Trying to look
That's
forward.
good. 3 days in a row of no barrels, by the way.
Yeah.
Until that
I
swing.
watched it.
So thank God.
Yeah. Some other good matchups this weekend. Obviously, Cubs, Mets. All right, I just finished glancing through the entire lineup here. Dodgers, Diamondbacks would be huge for the division.
Yep.
They do start Thursday, so they'll have a 4-game set, and it looks like both rotations are good, so all 4 games are going to be good pitching matchups. Maybe Gonsolin gets thrown in there, but he already has. They are currently losing. Oh, never mind. Shohei just tied it up with a home run, but Gonsolin has 8 Ks through 5, so he's still pretty nasty. But let's see. You got Roki, Eduardo Rodriguez, Dustin May, who's disgusting, Corbin Burns, Tony Gonsolin, Zach Gallen. And then I didn't even look up what the Thursday matchup was. Yamamoto versus Pfff.
What I love about that is you have
that's like a playoff series. I love it.
Yeah. I love how you have a great series in the East, and then right when that game's wrapping up, you got a great series in the West.
Mm-hmm.
So Absolutely. A lot of fan doubleheaders, if you will, tune into.
I will also be excited to watch the Yankees playing at Suter Health, just because they're so home run heavy.
Yep.
Just see Aaron Judge looking like he's playing in the cornfield game, the Field of Dreams game. That game was on crack.
Yesterday, the wind was blowing like 20 miles an hour. Of course, it's like one of the days that it wasn't blowing out to right. It was blowing like a little bit in from left and a lot left to right. I bet Jorge Polanco to hit a home run. Just loved the situation. First at bat, crushed the ball to I thought it was going 500 feet, I swear. It kind of seemed like he pimped it a little bit. Like it looked like he knew he got it. And Lawrence Butler just made the catch at the wall, ass against the wall, pretty much.
I always feel like such a loser when I think a ball is just gone off the bat and it's just not out.
Yeah.
Shohei's home run, also a barrel. No big deal. But yeah, I think Yankees A's could potentially be an exciting one as well. There was some TBDs on pitching matchups there, so I won't drive into that. But neither team has great pitchers, so it should be hopefully offensive fireworks, as you said. Ooh, this would be a good one. Jacob deGrom versus Jack Flaherty.
Yeah,
that's on Saturday. Garrett Crochet versus Cole Reagans. Looks like Saturday's chock full of good matchups.
Unfortunately, I'll be on a plane.
Oh, yeah. I forget. Are you going to Scotland for a little bit, or are you just going straight to London and your wife is in Scotland now?
The wife's in Scotland now. I'm going straight to London, meeting her there. Then we're going to do Paris for a couple days.
Billy?
I'm going to have to be TikToking at weird hours. No, I'm not.
I was going to say, I was going to offer my services. We just have to be in cahoots TikTok? On it.
Yeah. I don't know what our agenda looks like, really, so we'll see.
All right.
Okay, I haven't even thought about the time change, really. It might end up working well where I can do it early in the morning, or when I wake up, and be fine.
Time now in London is 1:15 a.m., so it's 5 hours ahead.
So if you have a 10 o'clock game on the West Coast and it goes long, we'll just buffer 3 hours. It will be done at 1 Eastern time, which means it's still over by 4 or 5 in the morning, London time, which means when I wake up in the morning, I can still probably do it. Will my wife get mad at me?
Maybe.
Sitting in a hotel room, listening to me read a script 40 times to get it right because I can't read.
While trying to fall back asleep.
Nor can I talk while she's trying to sleep. We might have some issues there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I can see that.
She's a huge fan, though. Huge fan. She watches all of them. Yeah, she critiques them. She asks about
Good.
certain
I love
players.
that.
Yeah, she's a supportive wife.
So I think it's funny because
yeah.
One of our other friends' girlfriends was asking about it too. I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah.
Love it.
So like I was kind of saying, this is kind of a short episode. It's more of just get back in and check in on the past week.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything else that even is a potential topic that I didn't write down. So do you got anything else?
I'm good. I think we owed the fans a short one.
Yeah, I think we owed ourselves a short one as well.
Let us know if you like the
shorter
format.
Way too long.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and if you want to see any other, or like if you do like longer,
let us know
give us some ideas for segments we may not have thought of, or even like a monthly one that we can throw in on the second week or third week of every month, something like that. Which I will be trying to think of stuff like that so that we at least have something if it's another boring week. But yeah, please let us know in comments, whether that's on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, anything.
We could always talk about our bets or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in the lab working on some pitchers over under on strikeouts and or outs recorded, which
I noticed today,
in the lab it's a very quick rundown. It just kind of takes a while when there's a full slate of games.
Is there a reason you hate unders on strikeouts? Because I believe you took 10 overs today and 0 unders.
No, I took an under. It was Rasmussen, and it looks like it's going to hit. Well, usually, so first off, those have longer odds, or not longer. I guess they'd be shorter. If it's minus 160 versus like even, anyway.
Gotcha.
So they are more likely to hit, but it's also that's just where the line was set. I'm not trying to predict really what's going to happen. I'm just more or less taking value because, like,
fair enough.
I forget who it was. Somebody, it was Emerson Hancock. His total was set at 3.5. Like his last 3 games, he's thrown at least 5 or 6, and it wasn't.
Gotcha.
The odds were pretty close to even, so I was like, I'm just hammering that. He's playing the A's. A's.
I didn't know if you had like
a fair amount, not crazy, but
I didn't know if you had a personal like, hey, I just like rooting for overs or something.
That definitely is true. I don't like rooting for unders. It's just more nerve-wracking, I feel like.
I love unders. I know I'm a psychopath for that, but I like them.
Yeah, I mean, if it makes sense, for sure. But also, if you try to do anything like alternates, you can't do an alternate of an under.
Yeah.
You can pick a lower number to hit over, but it also gets very far in one direction. Like if you go one strikeout under what the set value is, it like jumps to like at best odds minus 200. Like I saw one that went straight to minus 400.
I just always bet the Dodgers to win, the White Sox and the Rockies to lose, and over in Sacramento if they're playing there every day.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I was very close to picking Lucas Giolito to have over strikeouts, which I don't know if he has a lot yet because it's still loading, but they're down 6-0. So I'm going to assume he's not going to hit that.
Probably not.
He's already given up 10 hits and 6 runs in 3 2/3. So I got to imagine he's getting pulled here soon. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I got nothing else, Jake.
Cool. Let's go watch some baseball then.
Deal. Maybe get it on the sticks a little bit.
In.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully it's a little bit more exciting of a week. Maybe we'll come up with a segment or two to fill in some time. But until then, see you guys later.